Hello, welcome to another episode of Hackurate, episode 6. I'm your host, Aaron Howell,
And I'm Nathan Goodman.
and welcome back.
We're here.
We're out here. It's Tuesday, a Tuesday. Finally got to see Stars on Mars again because they didn't air an episode, a pre-recorded episode on the 4th of July.
Right? I realize as I'm getting older, there's way more of society takes 4th of July off than I knew.
Yeah.
And the
like,
whole
what-
week and the subsequent week.
Yeah. It's weird how serious a lot of people seem to take it in the grand scheme of like celebration.
Right. I mean, and I also thought there was a lot more of society that was automated.
Oh, yeah.
And see a bunch of things. Obviously, like everybody, like all the bank stuff kind of stops happening, but it's surprising that they can just like click a button to be like, no transfers today. And it's like, but doesn't all that stuff just kind of happen? Or is there actually a person saying yes, no on the other side? Doesn't seem like that. I thought we were beyond that point. But nope.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that all works.
It's America's birthday. We got to turn everything off for funsies.
So we're good. Yeah, it's funny. It's almost like we make things just slightly less American in the sense of freedoms because we lock down access to a lot of stuff. By giving everyone less working freedom, it creates like a weird paradox of less access to freedoms, which really means that we give the freedoms to each other.
Well, but it also then stays true to the capitalist mentality, though, too, because people who stay open and can benefit from the holiday, quote unquote, are the ones who are, getting the worm earlier than the other birds.
Yeah, it's like Chinese restaurants on Christmas.
Yeah.
They're just like, it's a day. Let's stay open.
I went into that. I told you the other day, but I went into that. Like, it's very much like a Jewish deli, and they were like hardcore running. It was 4th of July. They had orders up.
Yeah.
And they were going. I was like, man, I don't even see like a we're off early sign on your door. Like, you guys are here. You're making the money. The whole shopping center is dead, but you got orders coming out the windows, and they're in it. They're in it to win it.
Yeah, the time where like DoorDash can still be a thing. So even on holidays, people can choose to try to work for places that are still choosing to be open. Yeah, that really is the early worm.
The Jack in the Box, the early worm dies first. The Jack in the Box employees were much less enthusiastic, but they were there. They did. Not Jack in the Box, Whataburger. Oh, we don't have a Jack in the Box near here.
Sorry, I got thrown off because that was a good point, saying the early worm gets murdered.
So
you want to be the early bird, but not the early worm.
No, you definitely want to be the slowest, laziest worm. Yeah.
Maybe not the slowest, laziest, because then that worm gets caught in a rainstorm, and then he's just like, I'm out in the rain. And you're like, how'd all these worms get out in the water?
Got to get to the top.
Yeah. Oh, man. Which exactly is the problem with those worms in The Expanse, season 4, or book 4, those toxic worms, they come out of the ground because of the water saturation and they just start killing everybody incidentally. Anyways, space, Stars on Mars.
Stars on Mars.
We got to see Stars on Mars episode 5. We've known now for like 2 weeks that they were going, spoilers, of course. We've known now for 2 weeks that they were going to be getting 4 new Hab mates, 4 new celebrities, and we finally got to see who they were.
But before adding those people, they showed everybody who was already there getting all up in arms with each other and forming squads and little cliques, even though it seems like it's too small of an area to form cliques. You can hear everybody.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I could be in that space and not know what was going on.
Every time you're standing somewhere, you just hear somebody whispering off to the corner like,
right? And let's be honest.
Saying your name.
No one's really subtle about looking around while they're talking about someone. It's just like, wow, it's obvious you guys are like in plot mode. But just people getting heated. They've been together for 8 days, so just over a week now. I imagine that would be very rough.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah, but it's kind of interesting, like when you think about like festival life, where you end up like camping next to people for a few days, and you have like what you got, and you're all kind of trying to make things work, but either you end up getting really annoyed that they're next to you, or you just end up dealing with them or having a good time and calling them like somewhat friends. But
yeah,
it's definitely an interesting juxtaposition of like they're only been there for 8 days with new people, and they're like, I like you more than you, and I hate you. Just don't want to talk to some of y'all. It's like I thought we were just here on Mars doing Mars things.
And what was so frustrating to me is that the whole point, like part of the competition, is the teamwork. And so if you're not working to try and improve the team and you're like creating that division in this simulation of like space survival, you're losing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like you're not doing well.
Yeah.
Because that's not the whole point, and you're thinking it's just another reality game show.
Right.
And it's just like, well, you fail to grasp what you're doing here. So I think just like kind of diminishes their win if they move forward.
Yeah, I mean, they could definitely be working way harder
Yeah.
and not focusing on the hangout as much.
Yeah. And like trying to like
And
figure out
especially
how to communicate better.
every talking head is like, I'm competitive and I want to win. And also the people around me are like, whatever. But you have to work as a team on every single task. And you're always getting like a leader above you. So why upset any of them for any reason?
Yeah.
Just hang out.
And
that's what the people who are doing well are, just hanging out and doing the tasks. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. And when it's like, every time they have problems, whenever they're working on a task, it's usually based in the communication.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's just like, guys, you got to talk about this outside of the crisis.
Right.
And come up with plans on how to operate, because it's just going to get harder. And already you're seeing them psychologically start to, beat heads. So they're going to have to find a way to get around that.
Beat heads?
Yeah. What? Heads together?
You're trying to say
like,
butt heads?
Butt heads. Yeah, there we go.
They're definitely turning into.
I was like, that doesn't sound
into beat
right.
heads.
Beat heads. And like obviously, like it's kind of like a fancy prison almost.
Oh yeah.
Ironically, in Australia.
Yeah.
Filmed in Australia. But
I would also think like post-COVID, post-quarantine, people would be better at hanging out in a building for a month and not losing their mind. But I guess since they're celebrities, it probably would have been easier for normal people. But the celebrities they were so pampered during it all. They aren't used to the scenario of the hardship, the scenario of loss,
not having choice of your food,
things nearby, choice of any food. The one guy mentioned he'd just eaten cereal and noodles for days. The Olympic figure skater, and I'm just I can barely run off of 3 hours off of a pack of ramen, so I can only imagine trying to keep your morale up for an extra 4 days after like food gets weird and you're just eating the dried whatever and your stomach just keeps being like bleh,
they should have succeeded in that water challenge and that wouldn't have been a problem, but they didn't.
They didn't.
And
that's
they
okay.
Didn't get the resources.
We know the team was stronger for it anyway, so
yeah.
Some people got to go home sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes we got to fail these tasks and send somebody home. I didn't, the stakes for this one were pretty low. Even they were
Very
like,
low.
Oxygen's getting real low, and nobody was screaming or running around. So
right, they didn't. I don't think they had other than their normal timer, any sort of clock.
Well, it was the oxygen of the people that had crash landed.
Yeah. But it's like you're also introducing them anyways. So
right.
I wonder if they would have taken one of them off.
Yeah.
Like if they didn't
that would have been awesome.
That would have been weird.
Immediately cut them down to like, or just say, no, you're not getting anybody.
Or being like, well, to have
and
these
you got to
four,
cut
you
your
have to get
base
rid of
commander.
someone.
Now instead of adding 4 people, we're just down 5. That would have been excellent. But nope. But they are getting better. The people who have been there are getting better at being on Mars, doing the task. That's why those new people showed up, and one of the contestants was like, everybody shut up. We got to listen to the base commander. And the new people were like, whoa.
Whoa, you rubbed me the wrong way.
We're getting so serious.
Yeah.
It's already been serious. It's too late. But she definitely could have been like, hey, it's serious now. We're in the experiment started. Get ready.
Or just recognize that you were kind of snappy and be like, oh, I'm sorry, but I'm just trying to.
Oh, yeah. Nobody's trying to say sorry in that environment.
Which is crazy because it's like the lack of apologetic, nature. Behavior, yeah.
Yeah. There's very little humble behavior. Maybe that's also
shocking.
With the stars thing. It turns up the ego aspect and less of like trying to get through kind of the whole competition. Because that's obviously what normal people would do. They would be a lot. I mean, or it'd be worse. I don't know. It's hard to tell sometimes.
Give us an entire hab filled with like guys who are like janitors and trash men and see what we got.
Oh yeah, no, that wouldn't be very entertaining. It would just be damn deficient. It would not be very much of an experiment as much as just something we would know would work. But those are working people. They know how to function and take instructions. That's why the athletes are doing well, because they can take.
Well,
I think we talked about that.
It takes the mental and
previously, talking
physical,
about this.
discipline, because
Yeah.
they've already done the thing like that. So
They only added like one athlete to the new group.
Well, and that's that's what we've seen though from the athletes too, is that they've been so much more positive and inclined to be like, forming connections with each other, and they're just like, I've loved hanging out with so and so, and it's like always, they're showing shots of them like working out and exercising, and they're the ones who are not mentally cracking right now.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
And the people who are not exercising are just sitting there stewing and plotting, being
Right.
like, these people aren't cool and they don't
Right.
have a good vibe. And it's like, okay, well, you are also just a stewing pot of energy
Anger.
and anger, clearly, because
Yeah,
that
it's not doing
person
anybody any
snapped at
good.
people who had just got there, who were like marveling at the situation. And she's just like, hey, shut up.
This isn't Disney World anymore, Andy Richter.
Yeah. Spoilers. Yeah, Andy Richter and I forget his first name, something Price. He's a basketball player. There's first Iron Chef, female Iron Chef, Kat something, and there's a bachelorette lady.
No, she was a bachelor person. So
Oh,
she was on The
bachelor
Bachelor as a contestant.
Oh, okay.
And I guess apparently stole the guy from the winner or something. I don't know. I didn't read that far into it, but I was trying to catch when they were all talking to each other what they were saying, who was who and from what.
Yeah.
And it was too hard. There was too many things going on the screen at once. But yeah, Stars on Mars, it's going well.
Stars on Mars.
It's only going to get probably harder, I would hope.
I certainly hope
But
so.
the new people I feel like are in for a rude awakening. I can't ever. At the beginning of the series, everybody seemed real jazzed up about it, and now
the pressure and stress of it's
it's
really starting to set in.
less
because
of a-
they're
less of
just
a theme
under
park.
a third of the way through it.
and more of a real experiment, which
Yeah.
is funny.
Yeah, which is why we're going to see the people that can't handle their emotions and just turn to being rude as a snap reaction. That's going to get you kicked, because you're not going to be, people are not going to work with you, and they're not going to want to be around you for 20 more days, 15 more days, 10 more days. The higher the stress, the fewer the days, people are going to be like, I want you out of my face so I can make it through here.
Yeah.
So I feel like, get the people who are getting that collaborative team mindset are really going to go the distance.
Saying it smells like team spirit.
Yes, it does smell like
Yep.
team spirit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I miss BattleBots. We finished it, y'all. At least caught up, to what they've got aired, other than watching, I guess, that one other weird spinoff show, but it looks old, so I'm not super interested in it.
No.
Those are a good one. What you said you read some weird stuff recently?
Oh,
What
yeah.
do you got going on?
Remember the other day when I was talking about adopting tortoises?
Oh yeah,
That all came up because I read this article, Phoenix Local News segment, Phoenix, Arizona, in a backyard from Fox 10 Phoenix. As a man was pulling things out of a tortoise burrow and got stuck. And they had to dig him out. There's that. So
Is that like a hole in the ground?
Yeah.
Just a
yeah.
tortoise burrow. What?
There's a tortoise
Why was
hole
he in there?
in his backyard.
Oh,
And he was trying to see if there was a tortoise down there, and he got stuck. And they had to call the police.
man spelunks
And-
for turtle.
Yeah.
Gets trapped.
So it also turns out you can just adopt turtles here in Arizona, tortoises to be more accurate, because there's a problem. There's a lot of them, and
They need temporary
they're not
caretakers,
dying.
because
Yeah,
they're going to
yeah.
live longer than you.
they're not
They
dying
need
out
shepherds.
here. And apparently there's a lot of them in the caretakers kind of areas. So it's interesting how some places they'll have lots of cats, lots of dogs. Here we have Lots of turtles and
Got
tortoises.
ancient
Gotta stop saying
creatures.
turtles. I gotta say tortoises.
Tortoise, yeah, they're different. Bigger.
Yeah, bigger,
Heavier.
sandier.
More like dinosaurs.
Yeah, they're drier. in fact.
Yeah. Yeah, literally drier. They're,
Like,
they're
I looked up owning
desert
one.
turtles, but
And there's an entire process on having to make sure it's like hibernating properly every year. And I'm like, this sounds like such a pain in the ass. And also, it's funny to have
stewardship.
your
101.
your turtle in the corner of your apartment for all of the year, except for 3 months where you put it in your closet and try to keep it cold in there.
Just check on your sleeping rock
Yep,
animal.
You're like, up, it ate a bunch. Now it's in here. It's in there. Just leave it in there. Don't mess with it. It's my child that'll soon outlive me.
I feel like that would be
it's like adopting like a full adult, putting him in the closet every couple of months.
that is
Like, I keep him fed. He's 45, and then sometimes he sleeps.
that is a true legacy pet. You could pass that pet down and be like, this was my grandfather's tortoise.
It could definitely be your grandfather's tortoise. Give it
The
to somebody
tortoise is
who
like, he's halfway through his life.
totally doesn't want it, and say, here, this is the half adult animal that I bought.
Now it's yours.
Now it's yours.
You pass it down because I didn't realize I would die before this.
I know this turtle's name more than my great-great-grandchildren's name.
I know these turtles better than I know my own grandmother.
No, children. It'll obviously outlive your grandmother. Your grandma's old.
Obviously. So you get to know the turtle more.
Right. You get to know your turtle and
your whole life, and your kids will get to know the turtle better than they knew your parents.
There you go. Your grandchildren will know the turtle better than your turtle's grandfather.
Wow. What a world.
Right? It's a complicated web we weave on this family tree of turtle ownership.
It's temporal.
And once again, we said turtle for the last 2 minutes, and we meant tortoise. So
absolutely.
Snap edit in your mind.
No, I'm not
imagine
editing.
that we've been saying, not you.
Oh, okay. Fix your brain.
Imagine we've been saying tortoise for the last 4 minutes and not turtles.
Yeah,
so
it's 100%
we also watched
tortoises.
some of the new Planet Earthy stuff on Netflix.
It's not Planet Earth, though. It's Our Planet.
It's another planet thing.
I know. I just you don't want to get
our planet.
Falsely
Somebody's
accused
planet,
for the wrong
But
planet.
anyway, turtles. There were sea turtles in that, and that's why I'm thinking about them now.
I didn't see the sea turtle.
And also, can you imagine the ultimate betrayal of trust, or being a small turtle and trying to get to the sea, and you get eaten by a crab that's not even bigger than you? It's the same size. And it walking sideways, probably the same age. How fast do crabs grow?
In this case, we are talking about turtles too,
quick?
sea turtles.
Yeah, that's why
crabs
I said
grow pretty fast. Yeah,
I said that's why I keep saying turtles, because
turtles and tortoises.
I'm thinking of the turtles from
Tortoise
our
are
planet,
land,
and not the tortoises that are here in Phoenix.
Yeah.
They're strange,
tortoise,
rock creatures.
Well, it's funny because this came up because I was thinking earlier when I took that video, that small little bird out there, like that chick hanging out around my car.
Yeah.
Like when I was thinking about it earlier, I was just like, maybe it needs a hand and it shouldn't be down there. It kind of sounds like it's just like, hello.
Oh,
It's just kind of looking at my tires, and I was just like, damn, I feel bad for it, but also I don't want to interfere with the cycle of whatever's going on.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, if it is just, like, doing its thing and its parent will be back, like, because I don't know these birds.
Or it's the opposite, and it's the mother's first time going like, I'm not coming back.
Yeah, exactly.
You're on your own. You better stay in this shade until nightfall.
Well, yeah, and it's like if you
What
mess
happens
with
at nightfall?
the fledgling process and it, you help it too much and then it doesn't know how to do its own thing, then it dies anyways. So I was just like, well, good luck. I can't.
Right, can't help you.
It's sad, but I can't help you any more than the world can help you.
You're a bird in a pretty horrible place for birds to live. But
Yeah.
until it's winter, and then it's the best place for birds. They don't know.
It's
They don't
crazy.
know what to do. They probably enjoy the air patterns, but when you're not a flying bird and you're down being a young flightless bird, you can't go up and see what's going on up there. I mean, I feel for the little, the tiny little things, whatever, with the little
Quail.
feather, the quails. There you go. So
It
many
might have been a baby
quails.
quail.
This
It
is the
looked
first
kinda
season
like
I've
a
seen
quail.
baby quails, and they are so small.
So small.
Like a big dollar coin. It's like that's how big these little quails are. I didn't even realize I'd been looking at full-size quails this whole time with the bigger ones, because I'm like, they're not even that big. You could kick one. Like, it's
They're
small.
like the size
It's
of a dove.
tiny little bird. and they can't fly. And I see them running to get across the street.
They can gain air.
I know, but they choose not
they
to
love running.
for some reason.
No, they're definitely ground birds.
They will run for their life instead of flying just to get out of the way
Which is funny
safely.
because when they run fast enough, sometimes it's like their heads lean back. It's like a cartoon. They're just like, woo, like they're getting blown back.
I feel like I see the opposite. I feel like they lean forward more and suddenly they're running faster. Like a goddamn ninja anime character. They're just like, up, cars coming, lean forward more. Push off with the little tiny legs. And you're like, damn, I couldn't run that fast at that scale. You crazy little hollow-boned thing wearing a feather on your head.
Right.
Yeah.
Quail man.
But yeah. So buying a tortoise would be cool, but it's a lot of work.
It would be. Yeah.
Seems like a hell of a lot of work, and I don't know what kind of personality traits that says about a person.
Well, it's the opposite of being like, well, I'll have a pet for a while and I'll love it and care for it and it'll die. It'll be like, no, I have to take care of this pet and eventually make sure it goes somewhere safe because I'm going to die before I keep taking care of it.
Right.
Maybe if you can adopt an old tortoise, you know,
right.
Be like, how old is this tortoise? They're like 123 and you're like, I don't know.
That should work. I could probably hang on to it for...
I should be alive in the next 20 years.
20 years, yeah. Just rattle it around every once in a while. It's fine. Tortoise is fine.
Yeah, it's like maybe that'd be a good thing. Have like stewardship programs in rest homes where old folks can take care of tortoises that are also old.
Right? They can identify with the old thing.
Right.
Instead of having like small puppy time, they're just like, this is old creature time with the old folks.
Right.
They hang out with the biggest, oldest creature we can find. And sometimes they look into its eyes and they imagine themselves at their high school dance again. They get crazy flashbacks from the eyes of a creature older than themselves. This creature was alive before the wars that they had seen in their lifetime. This creature was alive before the poverty and the uprising
there
of their
are tortoises alive, I'm sure, right now that were alive before both world wars.
Yeah. It's
crazy.
For sure. They bring one into an old person and the old person experiences like a DNA touch from times before they
epigenetic
they
memory
experience
flashback.
the lives, their own they have great grandchildren and they're touching something that is older than themselves. It's never going to happen. So that's an idea.
It's like we were talking about with gemstones. You know, this thing is outside of our perception of time. It's older. It's going to live longer. It's like trees. They're just like, look at these things running around, sprinting, out of breath, just like trying to go through life.
Right? I really think...
Slow down.
I saw a couple clips of some sloths doing stuff lately on Instagram. And I'm just like, man, let's not do... I'm sure there is one because we saw that teacup pig cafe the other day watching Japan videos. But we should do a sloth cafe where you can hang out with sloths that slowly just kind of climb over you and can't really do anything rapidly or... You know, it'd be fun.
It would.
They got those big claws, but
the only problem
they can't do very much.
Is that due to their nature and being slow, they shit everywhere. they grow mold.
That's going to happen with any animal.
Hey, that's not serve safe. You can't have that in a cafe. It's just you can't.
I mean, the cafe is not. It's not like an official cafe. They give you a to-go drink, and then
it's
there's
like
an area.
Outdoor like.
No, it's indoors.
This is like a wooden. They've got like a porch.
How do you think any of
screen
those
doors?
Run? That
wood.
The
this
cat
is like
cafe
something
in
out
Tempe
of
doesn't
Florida,
not smell like cat shit. It probably definitely smells like
a
cat
Florida
shit.
swamp cafe, something like that. That's what I'm envisioning.
Well, like that's how it smells.
Yeah, and looks. It was like it's kind of like mossy wood.
Oh, it can be clean.
The sloths are gonna. You got to have it match the vibe, or else then you're gonna have this nice place with these shit moldy sloths crawling around.
They're employees. We're washing the sloths. They're getting baths. This is the last problem.
Okay.
The bigger problem is how to get the customers in and out.
Every time a sloth shits himself every 5 feet, you have to pick him up. You got to go bathe him. You bring him back, put him back where he is, and then he's just like, okay. Then like what? He moves another few feet, shits himself.
They have pig cafes. They have little puppy cafes.
What's the overhead on soap for these sloths?
They have cat cafes. No, it's Dawn. Dawn works on all animals. You saw
Yeah,
the commercials
but
where they
it's
dawned
gotta-
up the birds
Yeah,
and took
but
the oil
it's
out
gotta
of.
be. What's the budget?
Dawn
for
is the
this?
ultimate soap.
What's the draw?
I know.
What you're
I
saying?
used to
Cafe.
clean.
What's the
I used
food?
to clean dirt off cold party wear for
That's true.
for 2 months outside. Dawn is the ultimate soap.
Okay, but
We're
is
going to
it
use it on the
expensive
sloth's ass.
over time? Well, now here's the thing: are you going to destroy the sloth's ass biome? Like, are you making?
I don't have the science on
Because
specific.
they've
ass
evolved
biome for
growing
sloths.
mold, so then it's
So
just.
that is a good question.
See, are you going
Have to
to
do more
ruin its
research.
own microbiome?
Hey man, I'm just pitching the idea over here.
Yeah,
The
and
fact
I'm just
is,
trying to save you money.
You know, people are trying to do ostrich things and they end up settling it on emus. So I try to do a sloth, might end up settling it on.
Are emus cheaper?
No, they're just smaller and less crazy,
Oh.
and they're probably cheaper. And they're actually you can do
easier
local
to
things.
control, is what you're saying.
Yeah. So instead of sloths, we might have to downgrade to
So
like
ostriches
something
are
else.
like the rogue dinos.
Like finally
Birds.
train some squirrels to chill with people.
How about an ostrich cafe, where you hang out with ostriches and try to not get
There's no
kicked in the
way
head
that's
and murdered
less.
by a
That's
giant
more
bird.
sanitary and more safe than a sloth.
Look, it's
cafe.
not more
impossible.
sanitary. No, of course not. Have you ever seen ostrich
Maybe-
feet? They look like dinosaur
Maybe
feet.
an emu cafe.
An emu cafe? I don't know.
They really can't be tamed. We have to think of other tameable animals.
It's got to be small things.
I mean, if we have the tanks, we could do a crocodile or a gator cafe because they'll chill typically if you just put a lid on their cage and throw fish to them. They're mellow. They'll be friendly. You can just sit next to them and it'll be like you're hanging out with one, but it's less of a cafe hanging out with it and more of an exhibit.
How
With
about
coffee?
bear with me? We get
A jellyfish cafe would be cool, or an octopus, but then they're
Ooh.
breaking out of the tanks and
Yeah.
trying to get the caffeine. Can you imagine a
Octopus would be so-
bunch of caffeinated octopi?
I mean, they've done tests where they've given them
Too
like
many
MDA,
brains.
and they seem to love it.
Yeah.
They're like all because they're normally antisocial creatures, and they'll put their tentacles all over each other and like
Yeah.
woo-hoo-hoo,
Yep.
which is hilarious.
It's
So
like
I
16
wonder,
orgies happening at once.
they're like, I got all these hearts and brains and they're going nuts right
Going
now.
everywhere.
Like an octopus rave, or a cuttlefish rave, cuddle rave. Shit. I was thinking of a different animal.
Animal
No, I was
cafes?
just cafes. How about this raptor cafe? They're behind fences. The definitely like
birds?
there's no. I'm talking real raptors.
Like birds.
No, I'm talking Jurassic Park raptors.
Well, raptors aren't real.
Well, but
And
yeah, they are
so-
real. They are real.
Birds.
They're extinct.
Let's talk about the birds.
Wait. I need you to acknowledge
They
they're
aren't
real.
currently
They're
existing.
extinct. Don't say they're not real. We don't need people.
They aren't
thinking they're not
currently
real.
wandering around able to be thrown
No.
in a cafe with a
But
Chris
just-
Pratt type
just
in every cafe.
conceptualize with me, though.
throwing his hand
I
up
know.
saying, hey, these people are trying to drink lattes. And the raptors are just like, like that. Those noises.
Yeah.
Those kinds of things. Or you give it a little nostril to every table, like in Jurassic Park 3, and you sit down, you blow into the nostril thing, and Raptor comes up and takes your order because you're already speaking the same language. Yeah, that sound.
Alan.
No, screaming Alan. That's the sound.
Alan.
And then a raptor comes, takes your order, and you have a flashback. You were actually on a plane.
Yeah. So I know they're obviously not alive. Just a concept. That'd be fun. You just fun for the whole family.
I mean, you
Got
could do
really,
tiny,
really
like,
thick glass.
Tiny herbivores. Easier than that.
They were saying real raptors are actually probably like 3 to 4 feet, I think, anyways. So,
That's still big enough to be a pain in the ass.
but it's not as dire as Jurassic Park would have you think. Still a problem because, packs of
When they
dogs,
swarm.
as we found out last week or 2 weeks ago. Sorry, it's been a minute from our last podcast. We were kind of waiting on stars on Mars, and they let us down.
They don't have to know temporally what's going on.
But I like letting people know. If someone's listening right now to this podcast, I want you to know what's going on.
Why? Maybe. It's hot. Maybe.
It is,
I'm not even going to tell you what time of day it is right now.
right? I won't. I already told you it's Tuesday, though, so that was a spoiler. So, but that's it. It's as tightly as you'll be temporally bound to this episode. And then you can try to reference it back when what you were doing on Tuesday. You, the listener. Anyways, so other types of cafes. Crab cafe. You don't. Yeah, that's kind of brutal and dark because I assume then people are going to want to eat crab in the crab cafe.
Too. Yeah, right. And then you have like crab croquettes.
Someone's like
eating the crabs.
Wait, are we
running
not
around
eating the crab? You're like,
before.
no, this is not a seafood place.
You have like a revolving names of the crabs because you're just like, all right, Jim's done. He's old. Time to throw him inside of a fucking fried biscuit.
It's always new crab.
Not gonna live that long.
We named the new crab. Eat the old crab.
Pretty sure there's already a chipmunk cafe.
What?
Little tiny things. You have things that won't like shit without knowing.
That's the problem.
Happen,
if they're super small, they're shitting all the time. Because that's what I was thinking with. For a second, I was like, bush babies. And I was like, yeah, it'd be cute because they like climb and jump on stuff, but they also just poop.
Yeah, they definitely do.
No,
you mean like sugar gliders? Those make noise.
No, not sugar gliders. Bush babies. But also the same thing.
Yeah.
So same style of tiny animal.
Yeah.
You know?
Sugar gliders are terrible. They're noisy and temperamental and have moods. And
bush babies look like tiny bipedal creatures.
And they're nocturnal and they'll wake up in the middle of the night and go, ah! And you're just like, that's just the small old man
scream in the night,
sleeping in the fucking thing across the room, waking up.
Like,
this is the time. This is the time to wake up and make the screaming noises.
I would, man, if I had a parrot that I could train to do specific noises at times, I'd have it do like the predator sound in the middle of the night.
Why?
Because it's. I would know it's a bird. It'd just be hilarious because it'd be like, ooh, creepy, eerie, weird.
I don't know what I would train my bird to do. I like the videos of them throwing the birds out of the cars and catching animals. Those are pretty tight.
Like eagles?
Yeah, they'll like train they're like birds of prey that are in captivity, and they'll just like, go out, really fly, cool. My pretties.
That's a huge perk of my job is I get to see a bird
fly
around regularly now.
And then there's that one person who's training their parrot to like learn all the stuff. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
like a talking bird would be cool, but I don't know. My cousins had a bird when we were way little, and they just like threw the blanket over it every time it was noisy, and then they'd take the blanket off, and it would just be noisy. And I was like, why do you have this pet? It's a weird choice. If you have a pet, go all in on your pet. Don't be lackadaisical, because then there's a burden to everybody who comes around.
Right? What if you have a parrot and you watch John Wick like a lot? You're just gonna have
rattling off different gun sounds. And then see if people can identify the gun sounds that your bird's making.
Yeah. Be like, can you tell which movie this is by the sequence of gunshots?
Learn the exact order of grunts that John Wick makes in this sequence.
Dude, that would be awesome. I would love a bird.
The whole sequence of him like rolling down the stairs in the most recent one. Just a bird repeating that. I saw people. I was reading people react to that scene, and a lot of people were like, "I thought that was hilarious and great." And I'm like, I still am on the fence. It was funny that he fell down all those stairs, but damn, it was long and drawn out. And they kept finding more guys to pop out of the corners.
There's always someone looking to make some scratch.
There's always another person down a hallway ready to kill John Wick.
I think it's a great social commentary, but we don't have to go into it. I remember once.
It's a little violent to be a social commentary. Don't need to be telling people to kill the people with altering opinions.
That's a metaphor. It's not actually about killing people in that regard, as far as what I'm saying. But see, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to go into it because it's not what you think. It's mellow. It's more mellow.
It's one of the least mellow franchises in current history.
That's the great thing about being able to associate.
I mean, I think that's also a funny desensitization on our part. It's like you go through like movie collections that people have and you can get like a vibe. But also if like some lighthearted stuff isn't mixed in there, you're just like, oh man, like all like one. Like it's definitely a specific like thing. I know streaming services obviously make it so you can't tell what's going on, but Yeah, you got to mix it up. A little less bleak sometimes. I mean, even I fell in that trap of like only downloading a lot of heavy stuff. And then like you try to find something when you don't necessarily have your services available, like out of town or out of service. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want to watch any of this.
Like I've got all
This is all just
stuff.
put me in a mood.
Yeah. Well, that
That's
is
all
the
I have on
problem
my
with
laptop.
having like, I would say, dare say, having quality content, because it usually will get you through a spectrum of feelings instead of just like a specific vibe. It's like that's. I don't know.
I mean, there's definitely an area of like how to nail down like timelessness in your like show or your piece of media, because sci-fi stuff can definitely have that, or like I wouldn't say a lot of heavier stuff can have that, but I know people who will watch like Boondock Saints type stuff like anytime, any day, like Fight Club, like anytime,
Oh yeah.
any day, and that's a little weird to me because that's like heavier stuff, but it's also like those are probably also the people who won't watch stuff like all day. Like you're not gonna watch Fight Club like 3 times in a row because that really puts you in a mood I don't necessarily think you want to be in. You're just
I wouldn't
getting
think
put
so.
there.
Yeah. Because then what are you doing? You either want to fight people or you're like overthrow some like, systems like which
and it's also like I've met a lot of people who have seen the movie, but nobody's ever suggested you watching it in like company.
Yeah.
Like, but you could watch like Hitchhiker's Guide is a good one to watch in company because like it's got a heavy topic if you want, and if not, you just talk about how wacky British media is, or you just talk about old school sci-fi, or you can talk about the movie in general, not necessarily like the fact that the movie covers the like existence of being.
That's what I'm saying
content.
with like quality content. Yeah, because like you can draw what you need from quality content, but you can also go as deep as you want.
Yeah,
with something that's got like the breadth of subject diversity.
The breadth.
Exactly. You got to go the distance with
that breadth.
It's
a wide breadth.
Wide breadth. Go the distance, Kenny. I miss BattleBots so much. So much.
Right, we really churned through that. Folks, if you ever watch a show and you're just fast forwarding through whole bunches of it, prepare for like some loss at the end when it's over.
Because you'll be like, why didn't
really used to
I
just
have more
binging it?
But at the same time, I'm glad I didn't spend all that time.
I've ever done that too. I know. I guess things like we did that to Ultimate Beastmaster, where people would go into their backstories and we just pass forward through. And they would immediately into the water disqualified.
Yeah, it's like what? I'd spend 3 minutes watching a backstory to see them fail immediately. That's a waste of my time.
Crazy, yeah.
No, I don't need to know all that. I get invested if you keep going, and then I'm like, what's your deal?
Right.
They're
not good at
what drives you, what motivates you.
They're not good at shaping the series around the format of the show. They're always like, well, we got to drag this out for 8 episodes, so it doesn't matter how long they last on the thing. It's going to be 8 episodes.
Yeah.
Even if we have to pad the runtime with every single
the worse they are,
backstory.
The more you hear about them.
Right, that's true.
Interesting way to.
Well, yeah, I mean,
see
you give them
the balancing.
You give them a lot of the airtime up
presentation.
front, and then when they fail, everybody's paying attention to that. But they're going to fail, so they're not going to make it to the end. So by the time they're out, you pay attention to the people who are lasting.
Yeah,
that's classic. We've watched enough contest shows to know that like they won't show some contestants for half a season
if
just
they're
because
doing good.
They're doing way too good, and there's not really any reason to focus on them.
Yeah, because all their
on these other people who are bombing. Right,
that's it.
How many times do you like it when contestants do bad on these contest shows?
Yeah,
I'm mild. I'm a bit mixed. I like when they do good, but I also hate it when they all do too good.
Yeah,
because then it's hard to watch people leave, and it's not so obvious.
Yeah, well, we've seen enough contest shows in like a short enough span of time too to see also like the trends of like what people do when they see they're on their way out. Where like one of my favorite things to notice is when people say like, oh man, if you just give me one more chance, I've got so much left that I haven't shown you, and like some version of that, and it's we've seen it on so many different shows when someone's on the chopping block, and it's just like, man, this is the desperate plea of just wait, I've got more to show you, but it's also like, well, you should have been showing.
Yeah.
That's why you're here.
Show up before this. Well, or the opposite. which is always like, I got a target on my back.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
Target on my back.
They turn into like a fucking person behind enemy lines. They're just like, everybody's talking about me when I'm not in the room. I know they're coming for my job. And it's like,
Right? You
no,
see paranoia
you've gotten
break
real
people.
bad at what you're doing. You're bad at cooking / tattooing / whatever else we've consumed and watched.
/ making a robot. /
Yeah, making a robot. Yeah.
/ traversing fake lava. /
yeah.
driving a car.
I mean,
/ making a drink.
the fake lava had very
making
little.
a costume.
The fake lava with the one,
It's so low stakes.
super low stakes, one-off
Rutledge Wood.
contestants. Like people are only in there for like maybe 10 minutes an episode. Like, yeah. It was much better to have them in and out versus having them go through a whole season of just falling in goop over and over again. That would be horrible. I mean, that's what I don't like about the American, like the American Ninja Warrior, and by subsequent, like the Beastmaster. It's like you fall in the water, you're out. Like what's this time thing that we had to bring in to like make everybody succeed and get to the end of the season?
Oh yeah.
Like it sucks that we can't just be like, this is the hard
finish
competition.
The course. Yeah, it's like you've made the course.
Don't bring in like 40 elite people. Bring in 200 randos.
Yeah.
And whoever makes it to the end makes it to the end.
Also,
and then stretch that out into 8 episodes.
So like Squid Game.
Similar to Squid Game. The Asians get these contest shows right from the get-go.
Yeah.
They really do.
That's why anime also is one of the more popular mediums.
Yeah, it's holding out right now.
Yeah, because it's got good storytelling. And you know what? I don't think there's a writer's strike in Japan.
I mean, they might need some sometimes, but they don't. They just hold out, and then they collapse under the pressure of overwork, and then they come back after a hiatus.
Maybe they need one. I don't know. It's not my field, so I can't speak for it. Man, I mean,
speaking of Japan, I have that lens to the other story that I have.
Also. You know what I would love?
Kind of brought it up already the other day.
Yeah.
But it's that like the Sonic creator that got caught insider trading.
Oh, yeah.
And he was going to go to jail, but he's not going to go to jail. He's only going to pay 1.2 million in real American dollars, which is 170 million in yen. So he's paying a bunch of money, and then he's getting probation for insider trading. I don't know what he was insider trading, but it's pretty funny that they're catching like an ex-Sega CEO guy or whatever,
it's got to be
Sega creator.
Game.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure something was probably either bombing or was about to blow up, and he was just like, "Oh, make the yen off of this deal."
His mistake was talking about it.
But it's also one of the biggest franchises, so he's just like, "Here's my money. I don't care. I make that in royalties off of the Sonic movie that came out last year. Not a big deal."
You're right. That's probably what it was. Wagering on stuff like that.
Right.
Too.
He was just betting some games were going to go better or worse, and then they did, and they were like, "Oh, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Are you making money out here? Stop that."
Which is funny because I don't seem to do that in other walks of life. Anyways,
Yeah.
I was thinking there was what were we talking about right before that? I would love to see an electronic like musician, like electronic producer, like anime, where it's like dudes going to shows competing, like, you know, it's not really like actual competitions, but it's like guys playing shows, and there's like, you know, internal, external drama, because like you can make an anime with anything.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I feel like that'd be really fun, but then you could also like get people to actually make these songs that they'd be playing at these shows, which would be really cool.
Oh yeah. I mean, it would just be as simple as making like a formulaic like slice of life thing where it's just somebody trying to like come up and get popular. I mean, I haven't done that much research, but I think there's an anime called Bocchi the Rock that was really popular last season, because I haven't watched it because it's like little girls, but they're like trying to make a band and they're like getting popular. So, and it's just that. It's like real life. But it's a band. It's a band focus instead of like an electronic music thing. So I definitely think it could work. I mean, anything could work in that kind of sense for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they did
think about it. Like
they did a whole series of like coming up as a manga writer, as a fiction slice of life. Guys just like try to get popular, goes up and downs. They both get married by the end of the show. It's very grounded. And it's also like weird to read a manga written by a guy writing the manga who's like trying to also keep his career going. It's very meta and frustrating because you're like, well, you're doing a good job writing this thing about the job that you're in. It's like filmmakers film, that kind of thing, when people complain about that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's also like, if it's quality, it's quality. You can't complain about that. You know, it's like Quentin Tarantino's movie, The Hollywood, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Everybody said that was just a movie for people who like movies. Whereas this manga was like for a manga made for people who like the subject.
Yeah.
And it got turned into a successful anime. It was the guy who wrote Death Note, actually.
Oh.
And then wrote a new series that had to get banned in some countries because it depicted a couple guys like stepping off of roofs and then like waking up and being like, oh, I have this angel guardian now and my life was forfeit because I gave it up and now I'm competing in this thing. And then apparently some like influential teens in like some Pacific Island countries, I think, I don't remember which ones, but were also like, I'll also step off this roof and attempt to get an angel guardian and get into this competition. And then they were just like, no more of this show in Thailand or something. It might have been a different country.
So
but
their response is instead to ban this, but not like, I don't know, question the parents or friends of the people.
No,
be
it's too
like,
late. I
this
mean,
person thought this was real.
It was probably something that got through their censors and like ended up getting, you know, because I don't think people watch all the cartoons that get made to be like, is this adult or teenager? Yeah. It's a cartoon. You were like, oh, I'll just slot it in the kids. There's some wacky characters. I haven't watched it or looked at it. I don't know. But then it gets past the censor. I mean, I remember as a kid, it might not even be real now that I'm thinking about it. It's a Hackurate news story for you.
Oh.
When I was a kid, I heard about somebody like, some kid like staying at the bottom of a pool and drowning because he was trying to find SpongeBob. And I was like, doesn't sound real, but as a kid, I was just like, I know people my age, and I believe that because some of these people,
I remember hearing the same story.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. Sounds
now, whether or
wacky.
not that was like a Mandela effect, like people spreading something on the
Here we go.
news.
Let's commit to the bit and find out if this Hackurate story is accurate or hack.
All right. Well, while you're looking for that, I'll keep y'all occupied. So, in the year 2027, we went to the moon for the 50th time, finally to establish a colony. But it turns out, now get this, y'all, this is crazy. It turns out in the year 2027, when we went to the moon for the 50th time to finally establish a colony, we found out there's just a bunch of chimney sweeps up there, keeping all the lunar dust and lunar fines in check. It doesn't make any sense. They don't have suits. They don't have helmets. They're just out there. Chim-chimney, chim-chimney, chim-chim-charuin, sweeping up those lunar fines. They call themselves custodians. Doesn't make any sense. In fact, none of this makes any sense. Where am I? Who is this? What color is the sky's emotions? All right, what is the update? Because I can't keep this air going.
Okay, it looks like
drawing a
we're
blank.
not. Okay, we're not the only ones who have heard this. Apparently, there were like several rumors from in 2000 to 2002 to 2004 of different rumors of people, of kids either jumping off a boat because they thought they saw a pineapple underwater, or going into a pool. So there were rumors. So we're not wrong to have heard the rumors, and it's not made up.
Wow.
But it doesn't look like there was any substantiated evidence.
It's just kind of like a spontaneous
It looks
thing.
like something a bunch of parents made up.
Yeah.
It looks like something a bunch of parents told kids. And I heard it from other
watching
kids.
SpongeBob,
I heard it
maybe?
from other kids.
Yeah.
So maybe their kids were like, you can't watch SpongeBob because I don't want you diving
dying.
into the water. Is weird.
I don't know.
My parents just said you can't watch Simpsons because of the bad behavior. And I was like, unfortunately, that makes sense. And I can't argue with you. But then I snuck Family Guy under their noses.
Nice. I think I kind of snuck Family
was
Guy
way worse.
a little bit
You could argue.
when I started watching it. Yeah, it took me forever before I was able to watch SpongeBob.
But yeah,
That
that's
was
not
crazy. I
a
was like,
real
come on.
thing. Nobody died diving for SpongeBob. But
And also, let
It
me
is
say,
a
there's,
hack rumor
as far as we
that
know,
we heard.
there are no chimney sweeps on the moon, just to clarify.
I mean, I don't know. Dark side. Maybe the dark side just hasn't.
Yeah,
been
we've
swept
never
up yet.
really. Oh, genius! That's it. You've cracked it.
They got through half the moon and stopped. They actually all died. We don't have evidence that there aren't chimney sweeps. There's a lot of dust and shit, and it's white. We got a lot of white powder up there. So it's like, is it all soot? Is it just volcanic ash from picking it up from the earth during all the stuff? And when the moon smashed into the earth while it was volcanic and gravitized a lot of ash onto
The moon came out of the earth. They believe it was a broken piece because the earth got hit at one point and then just blasted that chunk out there, and it eventually turned into a sphere.
I thought the simulation was that the thing that hit the earth was also the moon.
Maybe. Keep these folks out.
I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I'm just
a rocket doctor.
Super inaccurate and slightly hacky sometimes. But yeah, it's pretty weird to hear the rumors that you heard as a kid that aren't real. I didn't see anything about it being a Mandela effect type of thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was hearing weird stuff, and it was around the time I was in the pool a lot, getting injured at the pool. So I wonder if that either happened before or after I got injured at the pool. I wonder if that happened before or after we went on cruises, because it might have been heard on a cruise.
Yeah.
It's weird to think about meeting a bunch of various kids on cruises and at resorts and then being like, they're out there in the world somewhere. And for one tiny brief moment, all of our molecules were next to each other, and now they're not ever again, just because we were all on a boat of leisure, or in a resort of leisure. I think resorts are a little bit weirder because at least in a boat, you're kind of doing an activity collectively. You're traveling. That's kind of nice.
It's like a journey.
But resorts are way more like just wanton, just sitting there like, oh, I got a swim up bar.
Sounds like staying at an amusement park.
And then a sand up bar at the beach where it's sand up to the bar, and then swim up bar in the pool, and then a walk up bar outside of my room.
So what you're telling me is as long as there's a bar, it's a resort.
It's a resort. We've resorted to drastic measures.
I work at a resort.
Can this resort pass the bar?
Times.
That's the question. You guys have lawyers at this resort because you're not passing my bar.
Not,
I need a bar every 6 feet, approximately. You were looking something up.
Yeah, I was looking up at where the moon came from. So the leading theory of the moon's origin is that a Mars-sized body collided with Earth about 4.5 billion years ago. The resulting debris from both Earth and the impactor accumulated to form our natural satellite 239,000 miles away.
So we were both kind of close. Yeah.
Accurate. We were both accurate. Yeah. On that one,
right,
y'all.
Right, slightly off the money.
Accurate TM.
I have an approximate knowledge of not a lot of things.
Right, a proxologist. Sounds like a proctologist.
Pox on that.
Pox on that. Does anyone use that phrase anymore?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Everybody's scared of old-timey diseases.
Oh, so okay, so. Other types of cafes, dolphin cafe.
I don't know about dolphins.
Why not?
Because dolphins, people come in at any time of the month, and dolphins get really frisky sometimes. Yeah. And they're a little like mischievous in the head. So they'll swim up to the side of the tank and be like, hey, I'm fully erect. What are you going to do about that? And you're just trying to sip a latte. And you're just like, this matcha doesn't taste right.
With this hit on by a dolphin.
Fish thing is like, is that one of the fish that hangs out underneath the dolphin? And you're like, that's not a separate fish.
That's
and you're
not.
Like, ah. And then you realize that they're gay dolphins and that they're doing it anyway. And it's not even that they're gay. Here. They're just like, look, you trapped us in this one thing, and we're gonna do this in this tank. We're in this cafe.
I mean, you might as well. Caffeine. Yeah, if you get trapped in a dolphin prison, you might as well.
Yeah, hang out.
Hang out with your wang out.
With your big fishy wang out, right? And I mean, they're known to get that
different.
They're known to get aggressive, and I mean, if they're friendly with each other enough, I'm sure it would go a certain way. Throw some like matcha powder in there, or some like aphrodisiac.
What? You're gonna poison their water? You can't just throw matcha. That's where they live. That's their ground.
They get jazzed up, but it's not. But they breathe air.
That's their ground that they built.
Filters. They got filters. Filters gets caught. They're just like, taste
filters. Green. You're talking about inside their bodies. They're
Yeah, they drink the
so
water.
Whatever, just throw it in the water. Throw your plastic. Throw your matcha.
No,
throw your.
it's not. Matcha's not plastic.
I know
it
it's not.
dissolves.
I know it's not plastic. It's a tea.
You throw a tea bag in there, maybe. Watch them go
Everything
crazy.
you throw in the water, including piss, that goes through their filter.
I think like a pufferfish cafe where you have like different kinds of puffers. They're kind of cute.
Yeah, but the puffing is a pain response.
Oh, yeah, true.
The more they do it, the shorter their lives
And
are.
they also panic a lot.
It's a stress response.
It's like every time you go in, they all just like puff up across the walls.
Yeah, you ever hear stories about like people's hair going white because they got scared so bad? That's like a puffer fish.
Well, it's like that. It's like that movie. It's like that movie, but instead of watching the cameras and the aliens are walking through the house and flickering
Talking
all
about
the
dark
cameras.
skies.
They're walking through the house and each camera's breaking as they're walking past the cameras. It's just like they're walking past the puffers and they're just like, and you're like, oh, the aliens are in the house. Look at the puffers. It stops right here. Okay, they only made it this far into the house. The puffers just floating there like, oh,
It's a very
I hate you.
rudimentary security system.
My security system, right? Right.
And expensive to maintain. You got to maintain salt water.
I mean, you're gonna have to up your.
Do you know how hard salt
your
water
puffer
tanks are to
orders.
maintain? Salt's a problem.
Maybe chameleon cafes.
Hey, plenty of salt though in a cafe. Chameleon cafes, that'd be kind of cool.
Just thinking about them, they hang on to stuff. Yeah.
Unless like though, if you would naturally get some like flies flying around. It's a restaurant.
Yeah.
And your chameleon, like if a fly lands on your food and a chameleon's nearby, it might like snag a chip or something on accident. That'd be kind of weird.
But that's where
I also don't want to poison chameleons.
that's
with
a part
sodium.
of the experience.
What, the chameleon?
Yeah,
is
having them in
snagging
there.
your food.
They you don't open a tab at an animal cafe. Okay, you make your purchase and you release liability. You're hanging out in their building with animals after having purchased a drink.
fair.
You're not hanging out with an open drink. We're waiting on
Or
lunch.
it's buyer beware.
Yeah, exactly.
You know the risks.
You know what's going on. You know you might get flashed by a
You can't sue this
crazy
animal
long
cafe.
tongue coming from a foot away, just smacking you in the eyeball. You can't expect that, but it might happen. And these are the risks you're going to accept at our Chameleon Cafe.
How about-
open hours of 6 p.m. to fucking 1 a.m. That's it. They hang out.
Yeah.
What?
No, sorry, I just had a crazy idea. So for the most exclusive, most elite of diners, it's a cafe experience, except it's just a cafe table that's being waited on out in a savanna in like a 15 square mile lion's territory. And so it's a billionaire thing. So you pay for the thrill of dining in this lion's territory and you don't get a gun, you get like a taser. Maybe
It's like a lion cafe.
yeah, exactly. It's a lion cafe, a safari cafe, and you just dine out. The lions generally don't.
This is like
come near you,
the
but-
dine out version of the Titanic situation, which is basically you're really going
paying
for it.
You're
and
paying
there's
for
a
the risk, the ability to try it.
Guarantee you're going to get mauled and eaten.
No, that's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee.
That's what the guy was telling the people as they loaded into that sub.
Hey, not a
It's
guarantee.
not a guarantee at all.
Not a
we will
guarantee.
probably be fine.
The key
Look
is
at this tube.
You got to choose what time of day your reservation is. You got to bank on the lion having.
I would say
already
that's
eaten
even worse
the
than
later
trying
in
to
the
swim
day,
with sharks.
The better your chances are, right?
It's even worse than trying to swim with sharks.
Hey, I didn't decide that rich people were going to do crazy things. I'm just making
You came up with this whole business model.
Yeah, it's just an idea. It's exclusive dining. You're paying for the privilege and your choice. This is your decision. You don't have to do it.
I'm still sold on my Chameleon cafes. You can have different napkins.
I'm just
You get
posing
people
a
buy
spin-off,
napkins.
A spin-off.
People buy napkins with different patterns, and then you
Yeah.
put the chameleon right on that napkin.
love it.
And then you watch it.
I love it.
More.
I would go to that cafe.
But you're not allowed to bring in your own patterns. Solid
What?
colors only.
You're telling me I can't come in with a Dan Flashes
Can't
shirt?
come in with a complicated pattern shirt. At the most, you could do a sports jersey or solid colors. We don't want
That would
only
encourage
improved patterns.
That would just encourage frats.
Whatever.
I want to encourage everybody to come to this Chameleon
That's fine.
Cafe.
But we got
If the chameleon can match your complicated pattern, you get your meal for free.
No.
You get your meal for free.
That's not real.
How about once a month?
That's how we're gonna lose
Have
money.
that. Once a month. I
Once
love
a month
it.
You can wear pattern stuff, but every other day it's smocks. We're getting white
I
smocks.
don't know. This sounds. See, this is more elitist than you can wear whatever you want in the safari diner. Wear whatever you want. You want to wear a shirt with eyes all over it? Increase the chances.
Sounds like
that
a
the
privilege,
lions-
really.
Wait.
Sounds more like a privilege to wear
hear what I'm
whatever you
saying?
want.
If you choose to wear a shirt that has eyes all over it, there's less of a chance the cat will attack you because it thinks it's being watched. Or at least maybe that's just tigers and not lions. Because seriously, people have to do that in rainforests. I believe in the Amazon, they have to wear, like, if they're working, they have to wear, like, eyes on the backs of their hats.
Weird.
So cats are less prone to
Not gonna work
attacking
on
them.
lions.
Yeah,
Lions need
maybe.
the big amounts of things.
Maybe.
When it's one thing,
look it up.
They immediately go after stuff. Whenever it's one object, they just go for it. If watching that Our Planet
So,
thing taught me
wait.
anything,
So
it's
you're
like, are
telling
you a
me-
baby or old? You're 10 feet away from the pack. We're taking you down. The pack may have pushed you out there. To be honest, they know we're here.
So you're telling me they're the most honorable of hunters as well. They go after one thing at a time. They're like, here we go.
I would
We're
argue
doing it.
no, because
What?
they do it in a
That's
group.
honorable. No, wait. Now
If they
the
dogpile
females do it in a
things-
group, right? Don't they? I've
they
seen
dogpile.
videos of like multiple lionesses taking down a
Yeah.
giraffe.
Yeah.
But there wasn't a single male involved.
But where are the other giraffes?
I think the male lions hunt by themselves.
Where are the other giraffes?
I don't. They're like, fuck that. I'm not going over there with those 8 cats. Are you kidding
No,
me?
the Our Planet thing
They're
showed
like,
that
he's dead.
the men come
He's
in at
long
the
gone.
end. The men come in at the end and just press it because they're
Well-
heavier. I don't know. I don't have any. I don't remember that much, but
Nuts. These lions, I don't know. I could look it up. What are your thoughts on the chameleon at Café? Give us some more.
I think we did it.
What? You're just wanting to end it?
Yes.
This is a good topic.
I'm tired. I gotta get
You're
ready.
tired? All right, y'all. Looks like we're out of here. Thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening. Another episode.
Another episode of Hackurate.
We're either doing later today or maybe later this week. Probably later this
Right.
week.
Catch up, get some 2 eps going. Thank you for listening. Hope you have a good day. Stay hydrated. Stay cool out there. Stay smart.
Yeah. Thanks for
Take care of
listening.
yourself.
I'm Nathan Goodman.
I'm Aaron Howell.
See you next time.
Bye.